what's going on with that? Now, I've also grown Noni. I've grown chocolate, goji berries, and Noni. Can you show Noni? Oh, good. Okay. Yeah. Do you have a picture of the tree? Oh, yeah. Yes. There's the Noni fruit right there. I've never seen anything like this. This fruit tree can grow on a lava field on the Big Island. By the way, we're doing a retreat on the Big Island. New Year's, if you're into it. It's going to be incredible. $100 off tonight. 100 just for showing up, $100 off. We're going to go and we're going to eat fresh Noni every day. And Noni is traditionally fermented into a beverage. And one of the things that Chad and Adam, they're the two guys under Elements for Life, one of the things they formulated is a little Noni beverage that's really, I love it. Do you have it up here? Here it is. Anybody ever like go to a cocktail party? What do they drink at cocktail parties? Scotch, rum on ice. This stuff tastes so darn powerful, you can't guzzle it. But you can put some on ice and kind of sip it. Right? That's how Noni is. What does it do? It's antifungal, antimicrobial, contains 140 enzymes. Antifungal, very powerful antifungal. Fresh Noni on athlete's foot every day in 2 weeks draws it right out permanently. You know, because the athlete's foot is a fungus virus situation. It drills its way into your foot and actually locks its way. The way it hides out is it locks up into, like let's say this is a foot. Athlete's foot gets into the joints way up in the middle of your foot. You think that the athlete's foot's coming out between your toes? That's not where it's actually hiding. It's hiding in the joints in the middle of the foot. And you just soak your foot in fresh Noni for 2 weeks, and what happens is, with its intelligence, it will actually pull out the fungus permanently. And it happens in a day. One day you'll be sitting there with a thing in your foot, you know, soaking your foot, and all of a sudden it's like, uh-oh, it's happening, and it pulls it out intelligently. Look, Fruit Loops ain't going to do anything like that. Do you remember those days? So it's a fun little beverage, you know. I've been playing with this stuff. What else do you guys have here? Oh man, this is a product I actually brought to Chad. Marine phytoplankton. Do you know about this? Jacques Cousteau said, by the way, I have writing a book on superfoods right now, so I've been researching all this stuff, Noni, goji berries, cacao, like what's in the literature. I pulled up 99 studies on goji berries. I went through 99 studies on goji berries. It was so fascinating what was in there. I mean, it just blew my mind. So one of the things I've been really into is the marine phytoplankton, because Jacques Cousteau said the future of nutrition is in the ocean. Look at Jacques Cousteau, first of all. His legacy affected the entire world, everybody in this room, and the way we think about the ocean. Can you imagine that legacy? That is really impressive. There's hardly anybody in the 20th century that we can think of that had more of a powerful effect on the way we think about the environment than Jacques Cousteau. And so I really got into Jacques Cousteau, like what's going on with this guy? And so then he was the guy who really figured out that marine phytoplankton is the basis of the whole food chain of the whole world. Do you remember that? I never knew that until I saw Jacques Cousteau on a National Geographic special in 1975. Remember that? Like, who was the guy who was, remember they had that great beginning? And then the whole program was on Jacques Cousteau. Does anybody remember National Geographic? The TV show? How many people won't raise their hand no matter what I say? How many people here brush their teeth? Yeah, improvements, that's good. Anyway, this is a trip how this happened. What happened was, this is kind of how I do things. I'll wait for synchronicities to occur that kind of guide me down the road. Because at this level where I'm at, it's like, somebody comes up to me and says, I have the best product ever. It's like, okay, great. You know what I mean? I usually wait for a bunch of synchronicities from all angles to come at me. So finally I came to the point with marine phytoplankton where I was like, okay, the very next synchronicity that occurs, I'm going to really dive into this stuff and really check this out. I get on the plane on a red-eye flight from LAX to Toronto, and the guy sitting next to me is Canada's leading authority on the subject. I was like, whoa. And I was literally moments before that thinking that thought. And then that happened. I was like, well, okay. Anyway, so what this is, and that's the old school technology. From that point, it developed into how do we get fresh, living Marine phytoplankton, the most powerful species out of 40,000 that has been isolated as being the best for human nutrition over the last 50 years of research. And take that and put it into a format in a bottle where it's still living, where we haven't dried it, we haven't freezed it, we haven't cooked it, nothing. 3 technologies came together to put this together. One is actually producing living marine phytoplankton, Nanochloropsis is the genus, and putting it into a peanut, like such a thick soup that's like peanut butter. Just densifying it. Then blending that into an ocean water concentrate that has been found to actually keep anything in suspended animation. A guy in Australia found out that if you evaporate 93% or remove 93% of the sodium out of ocean water, and you have that concentrate of all the ocean minerals in their appropriate ratio, except the sodium has been brought down 93%, naturally, not with chemistry or cooking or anything like that, just through these different pools that he uses, that you can take that substance, put anything into it. Let's say you put a blueberry into it, and just seal the container. Let's say you put a blueberry in it, you seal the container, you left it on a shelf, and you let it sit there, and then 3 years later came back, opened it up, pulled the blueberry out and ate it. You would leave it completely in suspended animation. That's a really amazing, that's a huge discovery for longevity, by the way. Massive discovery. So we took that technology and mixed it with the marine phytoplankton and then sent it through a flow form that this guy in Quebec discovered that if you run, how many people are familiar with vortexing? How many people are familiar that when you vortex water, it improves its quality? Anybody ever heard of this before? Water naturally wants to vortex, that's why it kind of does this. In a 3-dimensional perspective, it's really doing this, and then this, and then this, and then that. From a 2-dimensional perspective, it looks like that. You know what I'm saying? That's water's natural state. That's what it wants. That's why when you ever done this, where you turn the water on and the pipes go da 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 da. Who's had that experience? That's the water trying to shake like a snake. It's trying to bust the pipe apart because water does not like to go on a straight line. Have you ever heard this before?
No.
Now I have spiral pipes at my house. We are on a spring, and there's spirals in the line, so the water is naturally able to go spiral. And there's none of that goes on. You turn the sink on, there's no like da 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 da. You think the whole building's coming apart. You hear this in the city all the time. Any building, it's like. So we take the peanut butter level marine phytoplankton, like thick soupy stuff. We mix it with the ocean water concentrate and then vortex it 100 times, and that's that. Yeah, I'm going to send this sample to the South. Okay, I'm going to send this out to you guys, but here, I have a request, because I do this a lot. I'm going to open this, you're going to each try a drop.